Today on Drawbli,
we're looking at the art of Wenjun.
oh my god, wow. I briefly glanced through some of these artworks, and the colors that they choose are so amazing.
They're amazing. I mean, I love to see an artist who is not afraid to just go big and go home with color.
Go big and go home?
Yeah. They go big and then they're like, mic drop, I'm going home. I clearly am a master.
Checks out.
Looks amazing. I mean, just look at this.
Wow.
Just look at this. This is like massive splash screen level of just gorgeousness.
The actual content, like the aesthetic is super cool. The actual content is super cool as well. What is this like noise effect that's creating like motion blur heading down towards that foot? That's so unique and interesting.
Yeah, it's such a cool choice, and I love the details as well, like the binding around her foot. I love the glow with her hair here. I think that's very beautiful.
This feels like digital pastels to me. I've been watching someone at the drawing center I go to use pastels a lot, and that is the exact vibe that I get there.
Do they use oil pastels or chalk pastels?
Both, but mostly chalk. So
Mostly
that
chalk.
gives like that kind of chalky,
Yeah.
more dry feel.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that is such a crazy, simple sketch.
Right, I know. I love seeing that start.
So they do like a really rough sketch, really rough paint, like just blocking in things.
Yeah, just kind of scraping it in there, but we're still getting some ideas of where the light will fall. You know, you can see on her shirt here. That's something we consistently see with professional artists who work this way, is that one of the first things they get down, besides a sketch, is the light.
Very true.
They know where their light's gonna fall, and they start there.
Yeah.
This is just beautiful.
Whoa.
Isn't that gorgeous?
This almost feels like a golden ratio framing of like,
yeah.
I don't know if it aligns with the golden ratio over here in the top corner, but it has that kind of like vibe.
It's a beautiful choice.
It's
Just a gorgeous choice.
Yeah, I also really like the way that they rendered these giant lily pads and leaves over here. That subtle bluish color on top of that lily pad there.
Although, as we will find, this artist does a lot with this through line of art with some like small fairy work. So this could be a normal sized turtle and normal sized lily pads.
Oh.
It might be. We will find out a little bit more about that later on.
Okay.
Here is a beautiful teal and red juxtaposition. I love how we have so much teal on one side and then so much red on the other, but still elements of each on either side, but it's really well divided.
Okay, so the first thing I noticed about this was the absolute wild perspective going on, where we have these buildings curving off this way, and then this main structure curving the other direction. This is like a fisheye lens with a off-center, like, I don't think this is accurate to how a camera would work.
Right.
I don't think it's possible. But then I also noticed this amazing brushwork going on with this tree branch, and then on this building, this insane texture with these cool red sketchy lines all over it.
Yeah, if you just showed me this tree branch painted on its own, I would be like, that's a great painting. Good job. You've done it. But to see it just as an element of this much larger piece is so cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. This artist is so crazy. I love this. Ooh, and then we get a process breakdown.
Process breakdown.
Oh,
So many different
wow.
elements: sketch, perspective, blocking, colors, color experimentation. You can see a shift from what they had for colors. We see a lot more purples and yellows and like natural coloring to what if we just do it 2 colors? And I feel like that goes really well with our crazy perspective. It makes it so that not so many things are kind of crazy.
That's
you know?
not overwhelming.
Exactly.
That second to last step, and then that last one that just completely changed the color scheme was crazy.
Exactly.
This is awesome.
This is just beautiful. Again, we have that kind of interesting composition of like the black box and the white box here to the side.
I love the graphic. Yeah, the graphic elements are awesome.
Golden ratio.
The spheres, the kind of white hidden block that's like underneath that you can see in that bottom left corner.
Yeah. They're just beautiful, unique choices. You know, I feel like as an amateur artist, there's so much dedication to trying to make something look roughly real, you know, and trying to get that right. And once you get that, I feel like there's so much more lenience and creating something a little bit more.
You have
off
to
the beaten
learn the
path.
rules before you break them.
That's what they say.
That's
yeah.
what they say, and it's mostly true.
It's so cool here. The tiger ends up being, for all its stripes, such an area of rest in this massive, like, stripy area right behind the tiger, all the scattered colors right above him.
It's low contrast because the stripes aren't super dark. I think that at least helps with that idea.
Definitely. And the cool thing about the tiger is he actually has so much color variation just within him. He's not like just
But it's
white or
subtle.
off-white.
Yeah.
He's pink, he's blue, he's all of the above. Very cool.
Yeah, I actually really like playing with that subtle coloration in my own art as well. It's like one of the last little cherries I put on top.
Yeah. When doing anything that would be white, it's so much more fun to put in these pale iridescents.
And this is just story-wise, I am trying to figure out what's going on here.
I know, there's so much happening here. And it is a little bit like, whoa, there is so much happening here. But it's a beautiful piece. I mean, it clearly shows a lot of expertise and a lot of mastery.
It feels like a movie poster to me, or like the cover for a comic or graphic novel.
Yeah, like we'd have a big text at the bottom or the top or somewhere in there saying the title of some kind. Yeah, that's a good point. I thought this was interesting because the cranes stand out as...
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, they're very sharply lined, whereas the rest of the painting has a much more like dreamy, ethereal quality.
More soft in terms of like most of the edges.
Yeah, and I think that gives it a really cool contrast.
It's really, it almost feels like, I personally am not actually a fan, I think, maybe. I don't know. It's so different and so weird. I mean, obviously it's beautiful, but they feel kind of like cookie cutter pasted on top a little.
Yeah, like cell shaded.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a creative choice and a different one, but that's where we get great artists, great risks.
And experimentation.
Yeah, exactly. This is something a little bit different from what I've seen with them so far. That's why maybe in the bottom right corner we have this Ghost X.
Ghost X.
Otherwise they've just done the Ghost Jung Art logo. But I like the perspective in this and how painted out the characters are while everything around them is kept starkly simple.
Yeah.
But the
this is
characters
cool.
are very painted out, you know.
It looks like he has a metal plate on his booty.
I know!
Maybe it's just like iridescent, reflective material.
It's a clear panel.
Yeah, a clear panel. That's amazing. Oh, wow. This is cool.
Yeah, this artist is so good at taking so many different colors, spilling them across the page, and we still get a nice cohesive piece that doesn't feel overwhelming to the eye. It's pretty. I like it.
I am not normally a fan of highly interpretive art, you know, especially when you're talking about splatter or something akin to that. But this feels more interpretive, yet it still feels more grounded. You know, obviously you can make out this creature here that is maybe like a deer or something, but the rest of this is a lot more difficult to make sense of, but it's still like absolutely beautiful.
Right.
It's more organized chaos than just chaos.
Yeah, like this big navy sphere really anchors this side that's got so much going on, I think. And then it's like echoed over here with this small light blue sphere and then the larger broken up sphere there. I thought this was just beautiful. So
Wow.
light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So glowing.
I love high key art, so anything in the like mostly brighter range. I am not great at it, but
No, I'm not either. It's so hard. I mean, we do have dark values. This is not just an all light image.
True.
If you look at the negative spaces here, they have their own kind of shape language, very flowy. But yeah, to create all these areas of light within one another and not have them all just bleed into an amorphous blob of light.
not easy.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I think the characters in it are really pretty. I like the way they're drawn. I like the way they're painted. They feel very beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a gorgeous piece, and this is too.
Isn't this
Wow.
nice? I like how this is a lot more unfinished
Yeah,
than
it
some
is.
work we've seen from them.
More finished down here, it feels like. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just the lighting kind of giving that aesthetic, but you can definitely see the more kind of sketchy nature of a
Yeah.
lot of this.
Which I do like. I mean, that is a style. It is a illustration style. And then
And this is
here-
a lot more finished and rendered out.
Yeah. It's a lot less line work too, or visible lines too, which I don't know if that means they like had the lines and then we get rid of them a little bit later on and just leave the paint in. But I do like this a lot. And we have that X again, which every time I've seen that from them is kind of like this more techie world here.
Yeah, some kind of cool IP.
Oh, we gotta have a cat.
Gotta have a cat in every Drawbli video.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Officially, now that we're cat owners.
I really liked getting to see their process earlier of how they did a really rough sketch and then threw in all the color. I feel like I can see kind of that process here, like behind the scenes a little bit. This is one though that this thing's nuts. So this composition's crazy.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna see more of this. They do a whole series, and I haven't even included all of them here, of these little girls with like flower hats who are playing the flute. I think this was some of their primary intellectual property, original characters. They even later on, I'll show you either they or somebody for them sculpted like a little 3D version of one of these characters, the little flute playing girls. So you know they have a lot of attachment to this whole series and put a lot of love into it.
Check out this awesome cloud to mountain combination spiral that like flips up with the what kind of bird would that be? Not a crane, I guess. Its body looks so big for a crane, but I guess it has to be big if you're going to have a little fairy riding on top of you. But anyway, that's just an awesome composition. All this like leading that direction.
This image really flows and is very cohesive. This is another image that has a lot of like just good directional flow to it, which I really, really like. I like the colors in this a lot too. I love like indigos and purples and blues.
Yeah, so I definitely get like a royalty vibe. It feels almost like a throne with this character. I love anytime there's like not like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a halo effect. It's definitely very common to see in like triptychs of old classical religious art, but I actually really like the aesthetic in modern art as well. So I think that's a really cool kind of aesthetic and callback. Oh, here's the 3D character.
Isn't that really cute?
So I think that is a vinyl toy.
It does look like it's more than just a sculpt, doesn't it? It
doesn't look like a render to me. That looks like a banner image for, you know, a product on a website or something like that. That's cool. I think that might be my favorite piece. This and the one with the turtle earlier had a very similar rendering style.
Yeah, and similar color scheme too, I think. There's something about these like soft blue greens with like these yellowish greens. I don't know, that and a little bit of pink. That color palette has a lot of appeal to it.
I just love this kind of brushwork. Like I really want to get in and study this and why it works, because we have this base color of the plant and then we have this like grayish blue with these hints of orange for kind of like a subsurface scattering like effect. I would love to kind of break this image down myself and like really try to understand their choices.
I'd love to get a chance to watch them work in person and watch them create. There's so much to learn just from watching another artist go about their creation process. The little like time-lapse pieces are nice, the process pictures are nice, but there's something to be said for just getting to see how somebody puts down color, how they, physically do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is beautiful, by the way, with the lavender.
Yeah.
Cute little bird.
All of them, I mean.
Yeah, balanced colors.
I love this color combination.
Yeah.
So nice.
It's so pretty. And we see that a lot with this artist, kind of a muted back tone and then just a couple major colors and then maybe one little accent color, often yellowish green here.
I love that artwork and a lot of this stuff that they've done here, because they create a character that is clearly a focal point, but then their backgrounds are not phoned in whatsoever. They feel like their own artistic, it feels like they could be two separate artworks.
Yeah, look at the incredible detail in this work where each fan has its own artwork on it. Own ideas. That's so cool. And I like the bowl that she's writing that's like dissolving into money.
Yeah, oh my God. I love look at all the little details, like the little cow and pig. All of this is so amazing. So this is clearly like Zodiac inspired. We have
I think
the dragon,
I think so.
all the year of the rat, everything here.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
There's
love
a
this
lot
piece.
happening here, and it's really cool. And then,
Oh, yeah, okay. So here these are definitely made for like vinyl collectibles or vinyl toys. Madology. I will have to look that up and look into their figure line.
Yeah, I thought
cool.
that was cool. And I just want to share that because, you know, it's like your art made flesh. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the character that I said earlier, kind of looked like, you know, they were royalty or something on the throne holding the egg. Yeah, those are really nice quality as well.
I thought you might have professional interest in those.
My professional sculpting advice, those look good.
Here we just have more, you know, creative world building.
A character with just 2 teeth, one up top and one on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's so cute. And the cat is adorable.
I like this image because I think we're working from earlier in this artist's portfolio. So this is for them now like older work. And I think there's something to be said for examining, you know, where an artist started, where they came from, and we can compare that now to the images we started with and looked at initially, which were all their newer images, which I very much enjoyed.
I feel like I often see a trajectory with a lot of artists who kind of go up in terms of detail and information, and then they hit a point where they start simplifying what they create. And I feel like that is the inevitable trajectory of not every artist, but most artists that I see.
We have seen that multiple times. Realism, and then suddenly they just find their voice, their art voice. And it's just like, from then on, whatever they create is just eerily beautiful and perfect. But they have always had this, you know, knack for these beautiful pastel color combinations.
Yeah, I mean, number one, the colors, the leaves, amazing. And then these little characters, are these like tanuki or what are these things?
They kind of look like it, like something adjacent to that, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, this piece, I feel like if you take out like the boat and the characters, you're still getting this very beautiful wash of like plant background and life that's almost like blown out, but still reads very soft and beautiful without feeling too blown out at all.
Yeah, I would love to just have some of their nature paintings, like just a landscape or something, some kind of scene as my desktop background on my computer.
Honestly,
they're so beautiful.
Yes. I mean, their characters are so cute and so fun, and you know, like obviously they're making a business based on these characters as we saw from their sculpts, but I can almost picture this piece without the character and just see this beautiful, beautiful scope of these flowers and the sky at this beautiful angle. It's all gorgeous, but I would honestly take this without the character.
Yeah, I just like real quick, I just want to say that this artwork's focal point to me is almost not the character. It is this flower right here. And I think that is so interesting how they have this juxtaposition of style with this character, yet because this composition is so strong, this flower, like immediately, I feel like on first read draws your eye. More, maybe like second to the character, but it's like very close for me. I just find that super interesting.
I like this piece because we have all that complexity we've had before, but it's not ultra refined. We still have a lot of hand-drawn feeling, especially over on the left side of the image and up in this corner. And that really appeals to me. I don't know about you, but when I see like a fully refined and drawn out splash screen like this, sometimes I'm almost more likely to just kind of glaze over it. Whereas when we keep these elements of the hand-drawn lines, suddenly I'm much more interested. Don't know exactly why that is.
I've often wondered that. I feel like the answer that I've come to is that having those elements that remind you that a human created this is what gets you interested in it. Whereas when it's this highly polished, highly rendered, and probably a thing that someone put a lot more time into than something like this, which still took a lot of time, I feel like we lose that element a little bit of the artist behind the artwork, and it makes us less interested in it.
Yeah, that's just something so interesting.
All happening on a subconscious level.
That's an interesting thing about human brains. Here's the full line art drawn out.
Wow. Hold on, I didn't even notice this little rat character up here with the knife.
Oh, I didn't
He blends
that.
in so well with the fish. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, there's so much going on in an image like this. Oh, whoa, okay. Love that.
And then we continue to build the color. This feels almost like a watercolor style to me, where we're starting with our very like lighter elements.
Yeah, I bet they have a background in watercolor.
They might. I'm taking a watercolor class right now, so I feel very qualified to speak on this.
Yes.
And I wanted to put this in here just because I'm just like, that's so pretty.
That is.
Reminds me of Tangled with the lights, but a slightly different take. Obviously a Eastern tradition of the paper lanterns and all, but...
Yeah, just the style of... And I feel like this also gives that watercolor vibe. With a lot of these lanterns, they're clearly just like, I don't know, 3 brush strokes, but very gently faded out to create that effect of perspective flying away from the camera. Super, super cool. Oh, I love that so much.
I just love a big koi fish.
I love a big fish.
I love a big carp fish in these images, and the scales are always drawn so interestingly. Any artist we've seen that from, I've always been like obsessed with it.
Their colors. Just
Colors, I know.
Perfect color usage.
Yes.
I love these characters. They are such a cool style.
This is a really, really cool piece to me. I like how every character is very distinct, which we haven't totally always seen from this artist. Some of their images are just so, like, so much is going on. You have to look at it for a long time to pick out every character. But here we see everybody right away, and the waves on the side are cool.
Well, let's talk about this dude's chest and how terrifying this guy's chest is.
Oh, I thought that was his shoulder.
That is his chest into rib cage, and his rib cage, like the triangle of his rib cage is a mouth.
You're right. I didn't pick up on that at first at all.
Super creepy. Also, his nose kind of rings like traditional oni, like Japanese demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, super
There's a lot
crazy.
of story happening here.
Yeah, I don't know what her makeup is like indicative of. I don't recognize it, but it is really beautiful. I love that. And she's carrying a sacrificial lamb.
Yes. Yeah, it might be. Although maybe in Eastern culture we don't have that concept as much. Maybe that's just her little pet.
Maybe it's just her little pet that she's about to sacrifice. Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate more colors. And then we're gonna end on just a few quick portraits here that are just bright and
super
fun.
Different from everything that we've looked at before.
Yeah, we won't take a whole lot of time on these, but I just wanted to like showcase these as well, just because they're so fun and interesting.
They are. Hashtag smile again.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. And if you want to smile again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
And this is the part where we say
Goomba.
Goomba.